Hi there, and welcome to World Jesus Podcast. I am Francis Oluwaseun Ige. And on this episode, we're going to be having a beautiful and wonderful conversation. Of course, before I get into the topic, I have with me my friends, co-host from the extreme end, Bamdele Ajayi. Hi. And sitting right next to Bamdele is Ajibola Ajao.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And of course, the only lady in our midst, and let me not say anything else. Faithful Adaramala.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. All right. So, on this episode, we are going to be having this conversation around forgiving and forgetting.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to forgiving and forgetting, it's just you begin to think that is it possible to forgive and forget? And is it possible to somebody hurts you and then you forgive them? Yes. You also forget, and then yet you continue the relationship. Does that happen? And if that happens, how do we get into that? So that's majorly what we're going to be looking at today. But of course, I'll just start off with let me start off with Faithful, since she's the mommy today. Okay, so Faithful, when we're talking forgiving and forgetting, what comes to mind within the Christian setting?
Okay. Well, I think normally the expectation would be that someone offends you and you're expected to forget totally. You're not supposed to remember. Like when you see the person, there shouldn't be this anger wells up inside you that no, this person took my 50k some 100 years ago. That should have been forgotten. You are forgiving this person and you have moved on from the offense, and you are proceeding to build a relationship continuously with this person. So usually that's the expectation, that someone offends you and you're expected not to hold it to their charge even after you've forgiven them, and you're not remembering in such a way that the memory of the offense still brings you hurt. Yeah, so basically that's
So do you actually think it's possible to forgive and forget? I was going to ask that. How does that work? You forgive, you forget. Do you continue the relationship? But let me put that to Bamdele. If you forgive, first of all, do you believe it's possible to forgive and forget?
Forgive and forget. Even as I was still right here, I can still remember, offenses of the past. Right? Because to forget is a choice.
Is to divine.
Yes, to forgive actually
is human.
To forgive is non-negotiable.
Okay.
All right. But to forget now is a matter of maturity and a matter of emotional maturity and balance. You cannot tell me to forget an offense because we're Christian, forget about it. Like I said, it's a choice.
Okay.
When God said that your sins will I remember, what God is trying to say that I choose not to forgive. I choose not to remember them. All right. So because offense, hurts, they are a thing of the emotions, and depending on how emotionally balanced you are, how emotionally mature you are, that will determine whether you will easily forget or whether you will not easily forget.
Okay.
And also depending on the degree of the offense, like I said. Okay. A lady that was raped, will not forget that.
That is
easy. No, that easy is not possible.
So forgetting is not in the Christian tenet.
Scripturally, look at it, didn't say forgive and forget. He said forgive as your Father in heaven has forgiven you. Now, to forget now is not depending on the emotional makeup of the individual. So we should forget. God wants to forget. There is sometimes if somebody offends you now and you react immediately, or sometimes some people can, they can react for hours, for weeks, for days. The reason you don't say, no, I won't come, because it has touched your a part of your emotion. So your emotion is the one reacting. It's not your spirit. Your spirit will definitely forgive the person. No, now, so depending on the kind of offense, a lady that was raped by a guy or by a friend, you should not expect her to continue with that kind of relationship. All right. So it depends on the offense, the kind of offense, and the emotional build or makeup of that person.
So, Brochula, let me come to you and let me ask, what does forgiving entail? Spoken about, it's possible to forgive and forget, yeah, and see the person and not remember. That's the context of forgetting. And see the person and not remember, and see the person and not seek retribution or revenge. He has said that somehow that is also resident upon your emotional makeup if you are going to actually forget, because, and with the context of if somebody who has suffered some form of sexual abuse wouldn't go like that, you get. So, but then I come back to forgiving, because the Bible tells us to forgive. And oftentimes in Christian conversations, in Christian circles, even not just Christian circles, when you're with people and somebody offends you, you forgive and you forget, and you're still, but let's just look at it like this. What does forgiving really entail? Let's start from there with you.
I think forgiving means, like she said, that you do not seek to retaliate again. You do not seek to pay back the offense again. And I also think forgiving means also entails that you are no longer pained by what has happened to you. I believe why people normally say forgive and forget. Forgetting in that sense is not always saying that you should delete the memory, like format your brain. But what they are saying is that, when I say I forgot something, now it means the thing is not at the tip of my brain. Like when I was considering something, it was not at the tip of mine. So like that. So when they say forgive and forget, what they're saying is that don't keep this matter at the tip of your consciousness, that you are always conscious of this. Oh, this brother that hurt me the other time. Okay, that's what he did the other time.
Let go.
You understand? So, and the way it goes, why people still stick to saying forgive and forget, is that when you actually forgive genuinely, many a times you won't even know when you've forgotten about it. Not like if you forgot, but then because you can actually be remembered, when you say you forget something, you actually forget, but then you can be reminded of what you forgot. So they're not like if you can't remember.
But don't keep a record of it. Don't keep a conscious record of it.
You're not always conscious of it. So when we say forgive means you are not seeking to punish the person again for what he has done, and you do not retaliate, you do not act based on that act, based on the action that offended you. Understand? Maybe you did something wrong and I'm angry at you, or maybe I felt hurt by what you did. My actions afterwards is not based on that thing that you did against me. So I do not allow it to affect what I do or my relationship with you, or my responses to what you're doing. So I think that's forgiving.
Okay, so I don't know, but I'm thinking of, that if we say somebody offends you and you forgive the person, and you've done something like, let's assume somebody steals your 20K or just does something wrong, and maybe they are close, they're your friend, and of course you're forgiving them, but are you supposed to still have a relationship with them? Are you supposed to continue your friendship after that hurt? Or you say, okay, I've forgiven you, but from here on to your tent, O Israel, let everybody be going their own. After here, I'm not looking for anybody. Or what you now do is you now say, well, based on this that has happened, we can still forge ahead. What really happens? Let me ask you, Pastor Bamidele, what happens? Are you forgiving and then you don't come back to it? No more friends, everybody goes their own?
Scripturally, if you are Christian, we are talking about Christian body now. It should not really affect our relationship. It should not affect our relationship. Now, but when Bible says that, book of 1 Corinthians now, it says, what fellowship does light have with darkness? Now, if it's between light and darkness, if that's scenario between light and darkness, you may choose to continue your relationship, and you may choose not to, depending on the purpose of the relationship anyway. But as far as Christendom is concerned, whether I like it or not, I will still be seeing my brother in church. we'll still get to talk. Particularly if you are not in the same workforce, we get to talk. So I won't say because he stole my 20K, I will see him in church, I will ignore him, I won't greet him. No. So I must be ready to sacrifice whatever has happened and do the needful as Christ has laid it down. So if my brother has offended me, like the example you gave, I should be ready to forgive and must not allow that offense to affect our relationship. All right. But when it comes to maybe business matter, business issue, a Christian, yes, you may choose to
not do business again with the
terminate
person.
the business relationship,
and
find your way.
And so there will be no more business transactions
You may
ahead.
choose, and you may continue depending on the purpose of that, and depending on how much you want. If you be ready to take more offense, then you can. But if you don't, I cannot. Then you break the relationship.
Well, I think it depends. When we say offense, the offense is brought about by an action.
For the example you gave, I give it the example you gave.
It's brought about by an action. So the action, many a times, is not just bringing a pin. Sometimes it exposes the nature of the person you are relating with.
Yes.
So it's not just that you did something, it hurts me, but then it gives me an understanding of knowing who you are more. So so if I decide to change the way I relate with you, it's not because I'm pained by what you did again, but then because now I understand your person and I know how to relate with you better because of what you've done. Now that's why Bible was saying that we do not relate with people based on the physical knowledge of them, but you have to know them spiritually. I believe you get the Bible I'm trying to paraphrase. So what we're saying is that so when you know people, you relate with them based on who they are. Like what has light got to do with darkness, not just on what they've done to you. Someone that is like Peter now betrayed Jesus, that was not anything because he was able to like they normally say that okay, there is Peter and there is Judas. They are two different persons.
Okay.
So not just their acts, but then their persons are different. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes the act of someone exposes who they are. An example that came to mind is that of John Mark and Paul. Paul saying to Barnabas that I'm not going to this mission.
You hear him again. It's not
with this guy was not because he was offended by John Mark. Not just that, but then because he realized that if this guy still has this kind of mind, he will not be profitable for this assignment. So please let's not go with him because of the kind of person he is. And at the time when he believes the guy has changed, he wrote a letter that said, you can now send him to me because now he's not profitable for this assignment. So he's not changing your relationship with the person based on what they did. It's not just because of the hurt. It could be because of now you understand where they stand and you now know a better way of relating with them. So that's my own.
Okay, so Faithful, if somebody hurts you, I want to keep it within a workable context, any social context. Somebody does something wrong. A female friend betrays you, good friend, and certain things you share in confidence, and then she goes to share with somebody else you hear on the outside. What do? You forgive the person?
Yeah, well, I really like this example you gave because let me say it has happened to me before.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so of course I was hurt, really hurt, because I felt like, okay, this was private information and I expected you to keep it private, but since you could not uphold the end of your bargain, it shows to me that, okay, you are probably not someone that I can share intimate information with.
Okay.
It doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Okay.
I mean, we are still friends, very good friends, actually, but the level of the information that I share with this person has definitely reduced.
Okay.
Not necessarily because I feel like you would repeat the same thing, because I mean, people change. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be that's just the kind of person she's going to be forever. It's possible that she actually changes, but with what happened, I really do not have the confidence to share such information again. Now, will I share other information with her? Of course, yes. Am I doing that? Of course, yes. But it just puts this boundary to the kind of information that I'm sharing because of my own safety. Because in relationships, you also need to know if you are secure with this person, if you are safe with this person. You understand? If this person is not going to sell you out, You understand? And that was what Judas could not do for Jesus
Mhm,
at the end of the day. So yes, I'll still talk with you. We'll still be cool. We'll still we'll still vibe and all of that. I'll still come see you. We'll gist and everything. But then the information
They just have lost that confidence in.
Yes, the information that you're probably expecting me to share with you. You understand? Okay, let's say for instance, maybe maybe I got a job. I might not really tell you that I'm going for the interview. I'll just tell you maybe like weeks later after I've gotten the job. Okay, I even got a job at this so and so place. You understand? Whereas before I would have called you that okay, I'm going for an interview. This is the place. This is the time. Just give you basic information. But it just reduces that level of sharing with that person.
But sorry, has that not affected the relationship already?
It hasn't affected the relationship because we have also progressed and we have grown from the people that we used to be in that time. That's why I'm saying that I'm not saying the person remains like that forever. The person can grow. You can also grow. That's just what time does. Time really gives you the opportunity to grow and to be a better person. But if the person now remains like that, it doesn't mean I'm not sharing information with this person. But you understand, time will just, time does a lot of things. But it doesn't mean that we are not friends. We are friends, but I might not just have the confidence to share so deep an information with you. You understand?
And you've forgiven the person.
Of course, I have forgiven the person. I still love you. I still see you as my friend. And I still care about you. And, if I want to share things and I feel like, okay, this is the go-to person, I'll definitely come to you.
But if it's your intimate friend, intimate. Do you think you will still...
What you mean by intimate?
Sir?
Okay.
I'm interested in knowing what you mean by
No.
intimate.
Of course, the same sex, intimate.
Close
cordial,
friend.
bosom
Best
friend, best friend.
Besties.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just-
Cordial.
Okay, let me just explain how it happened. When I found out that this person was actually relating to me in this way, it took time for me to really trust her again. Let me just put it that way. Even though I had forgiven her and we were able to talk about it, like not a confrontation, it was just a conversation. Okay, you did this. Is this true? You did this. Okay, why did you do this? We were able to go past, why she did what she did, and me forgiving her. Everybody, maybe they were a little, tear one or two here and there, but we have moved on. You understand? Did I say I'm not hot? No, of course I was hot, but then I have forgiven you and we have moved on. But now, I wouldn't say that
your relationship
yes,
is just
our
as it was
relationship,
prior to that.
yes, it is not as it was, and it doesn't mean that I have not forgiven or I have not let go. It's just that over time you
You're not
just
dealing with
realize,
wisdom.
yes, over time
With wisdom.
you just tend to just act with wisdom. And besides, when you grow up, you learn to keep some certain things to yourself. It's not all information you let loose like that. So that was just how we dealt with it. We are still cool, we are still friends, and I can just call her up, oh, I miss you, she'll come around, we'll talk, we'll gist and all of that. But it wasn't as it used to be.
Okay, so you got to say something.
No. I'm just learning. I'm learning.
Yes.
Okay, you're learning. So you're hoping you don't offend her so that she doesn't move you out of the inner court to the outer court.
So it's definitely not easy. It's not easy because when you see someone as your very close, intimate friend, and they go on to do something that hurts you, you understand. It's definitely going to create this wound in your heart.
No, that's why I said it depends on emotional makeup.
Okay.
Some other people
But there should
will
be
still.
standard. The way you are saying emotional makeup is making me to feel like
No,
there
let me-
should be a standard.
No, let me
because
land.
if we say emotional makeup,
Yeah.
right, it means that if my emotions don't permit me to forgive, God.
No, not forgive now. To
Forget.
forget. Forgetting. Not forgive now. I'm talking about the
But then that's
forgetting
why,
part.
in the context of forgetting, she too is not saying that she has forgotten.
Yeah, but it has
course, I-
affected
She's just,
the relationship in a
acknowledging
way.
the fact that, look, what you have done has moved you from one place. You used to be very close to me.
Yeah.
And what you have done, you can't be back here. You can't. You are not
Exactly. So I
qualified
said
to be
it
at
has
this
affected
place
the relationship
anymore.
in a way.
It has
Yes or
affected
no?
the relationship.
Yeah. No, I was going to say that there are some other people who probably have had that same experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by their so-called intimate friend, bosom, close, cordial friend, but yet still move on with the vibe, with the with previous. The previous vibe, the way they vibe as friends, they still move on. They still keep relationship with each other. No, I said it depends on the kind of relationship now.
Well, I think sometimes also it's not really a conscious thing. You just don't consciously don't want to tell this person these things. You just elude it.
But
somehow,
is it not permissible that after you've been hurt by a person and they breach privacy,
yes,
do you still go back and allow them into your private space?
That's no wisdom.
For me, that's not wisdom.
That's
I've forgiven you. I'm not holding it against you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember. Let me give a context. Take, for instance, let's say somebody borrows you money, or you borrow somebody money, and the person never pays back.
Your friend, not somebody.
Your friend, yes.
Close friend.
You call the person back and say, and he doesn't even ever acknowledge. Are you? You say, okay, Alpha. He just does as if he didn't hear you. He never says, I'm owing you money. He never says, sorry, I haven't paid you back. He never acknowledges. He never does anything about it. He just moves on from it like nothing ever happened. Like he never borrowed money. What happens after that?
I believe that let me put it this way. That probably should not have been the first time.
Let's not take it that way. Let's assume that's the first time.
That's why I said it depends on the relationship.
Okay.
Some so-called friendship have gone beyond friends now. They have become brother and sister. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you offend me, they say, but that will not stop them from keeping information with that same person that betrayed them, people. Because they have gone beyond just friends. They have become brother and sister, brother now. You know what I'm saying? There are some people like that, friends that have gone beyond just friends. They have become brother, become sisters. So that first time I borrowed the money, if you ask me again, last time I borrowed, you didn't give me. This one you must return my money, or I borrow you. But still, the same thing happened. And that time again, borrow me now. I'm not. This is the second time. This is the third time. But I bet borrow me. You know, that's no longer
you're talking
friends.
in the context of siblings.
No, still friends, but that has gone beyond just friends. Like
but let's look at it like this. Somebody comes to you, borrows $1 million.
Yes, my friend.
Your friend, your close friend.
Yes.
Borrows one of them. Never makes any significant effort to pay back. 5th time, still the same thing. 10th time, still the same thing. At one point along the line, the 20th time, you didn't have, you went to borrow for them to give them. You are not borrowing, you are giving.
But
you have made up your mind that you want to give. It's just that when they say come and borrow me, you refer back to it.
That's why I said it depends on the kind of relationship
that you are giving. That's not borrowing.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I said it depends on the kind of relationship.
Even in that relationship, for me, that's not borrowing. You are giving.
If my brother, my sister,
you are lending to somebody
for me,
you expect that you will give me back. So once you borrow somebody 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you still keep borrowing, even though you know they are not paying back,
I believe
then you are just
one thing
you are supporting their life.
Is that there is a difference between a wrong act and when someone is, I don't want to say a wrong person. So there are people that when you understand that maybe this person makes a mistake, one way or the other, you can actually understand that, then go back and revitalize the relationship, and you realize that what this person did maybe was a mistake. There are people that have owed money like that you're like, okay, just forget about it, because you know maybe this is not who they are. But then when you discover that this person is a deceiver. Even the Bible says there are people that the Bible even says you should not relate with, maybe an angry person, those kind of things. So when there are people that you can't relate with, when you discover this is the kind of person they are.
Yeah.
So even if he's your friend or it was your friend, and you discover this is the kind of person he is, and he's not qualified for where you are going to, it is wisdom for you to let go. Not because you are hot now, but the reason is because they've been weighed and they found one thing. And you see the kind of I'm saying that's it. So if that one is not because you are hot, even when you are going and you have an opportunity to help them, you can help them in ways whereby they will not be hurtful to you.
Let's look at this within the context of marriage, because why we're here is because for certain people at certain point in time, it seems that you can forgive, But forgetting is quite difficult because you feel like this person has done something for me to be foolish to. Not that you're not holding it against them. Like Jibola said, it's not at the tip of your it's not at the tip of your finger. It doesn't come when you see them, it doesn't come to remembrance. However, you have used that experience with them to redefine your relationship so that there's no reoccurrence. Do you understand? So that you don't get hurt a second time.
Yeah.
But now in the context of marriage, does forgiving and forgetting apply?
Okay, I will still broaden the question because I remember another reason why people normally bring up the idea of forgiving and forgetting is when you refer back and you say, but you remember last year you did the same thing to me, so you've not forgiven me. Why do you still remember? Why won't I remember?
No, for me, is it possible that let's somebody, okay, a guy calls you out and says, let's meet up, let's hang out. So what time? 5 p.m. on Saturday. Okay, I'll call you. So you're waiting for his call 5 p.m. on Saturday and he doesn't call you. And you're there like 5 p.m., 5:30, he hasn't called. 6 p.m., he hasn't called. You are calling him, his phone is ringing, he's not picking. At the end of the day, like, the next day you send a message, like, oh, sorry, I was caught up with something, like, blah, you get. So, same thing occurs 2-3 times. He stands you up, all of that, he doesn't show up. And then by the time you send him a message to apologize, it's the next day or 2-3 days after. Do you still acknowledge a date from the person? Next time that he says just go on a date, do you get ready, dress up?
No.
Why?
Because, you're not reliable.
But you're supposed to forgive and forget.
I've forgiven him, but I cannot hold him to be faithful to events like that.
Okay.
It's just knowing. See, I think also, what we're talking about forgiving.
So you're saying you can't forget?
I can't forget that he stood me up 5 times.
Why can't you forget he stood you up 5 times?
Why would I forget? Because
you stood Jesus up 5 times.
Well, he's not Jesus. Okay, see, while we're talking about forgiving and forgetting, I think we shouldn't leave that space of, people being irresponsible. You have to be responsible, especially if you're a Christian, you have to be responsible. Okay, you call someone, it's just like the normal way we go to church. Church is starting by 7 a.m. You're just strolling around and you're coming by 7:30. And okay, if you were the pastor of a church and you actually need someone to take probably the workers' prayer at that time, would you give it to someone that comes 7:30? You wouldn't, because you know that this person is not responsible enough to hold up this duty or this task. Not necessarily because, you've given up on them. You just know that this is not your area of strength.
So we can actually say forgetting is not actually about wiping it out of your memory.
No, it's not about
forgetting is that you don't use that thing against them in a negative way, in such that you now begin to castigate, publicly embarrass them, judge them negatively. Okay.
Or,
I was waiting for you to.
In a rape situation where a guy rapes you and then he's now a pastor. You understand? You don't necessarily have to that's Yetba.
Okay.
You don't have to
hold
wake
against
up,
him.
What if you can you still sit under his ministration? What if you see him every time you see him on TV you switch it off? Or does that mean you're not forgiven?
Dude, at that
there
point,
are people that
of course, you were going to say something. I want to say because I want to say something. But let me hear what you're going to say.
I was waiting for you to finish the marriage matter that you
I wanted
raised.
to go back to
Okay, you too.
You see, that marriage matter is going to be somehow. It's going to lead us into
other matters.
See, those that are
Because
not married,
in marriage,
you don't understand.
yes, because in marriage there's a consistent level of hurt,
Yes,
disappointments, and things like that.
yes.
And
Borrow money
that
and not returning.
is
and
standard
it
procedure.
must continue.
But
It
it's a
continues.
must.
It's relationship.
Continues.
Like, a time when
It's
you
marital
start
relationship.
enjoying it.
Yes, you must continue. Borrow
So-
money yesterday and did return it. Borrow again, did return it. So I was waiting for you to finish so that I will say.
But really, in bringing it back to this point where he talked about somebody does something wrong like that, you now begin to see them like she said. Or let me come back and this is where I was going to go, but because of time I won't go, I'll just go straight. Where's the place of healing in forgiving and forgetting? Or what's the place of healing in forgiving and forgetting? We use that to round up.
Okay, I think time.
Okay?
Time heals
Yes.
all wounds, just like they say.
Okay.
For instance, now we're talking about a rape situation. Now, someone raped you 21 years ago, and now he's 45.
Yeah.
He's a pastor.
Yeah.
He's doing well. It's not like you're hearing about all this history of immorality around him. He's truly a changed person. You have to move on, not for the sake of this person or this person's reputation, but for the sake of your own self. Because you see, when you don't move on, you're still in that
You're
scene.
still in that place.
21 years ago, you are still that girl. You are still that same person. You might have grown up, but you are still that person. Emotionally, you have not healed. You're still thinking about what this person did, how this person started, how he raped you, and then you're thinking about all other people that are also attached to that area, and then you're thinking about, okay, all guys are just bad. It will definitely affect you. So you need to heal, not necessarily for that person. Do it for your own self, and then God can help you to just walk through that process, like gradually. It's not going to be like just one time. It's going to be a gradual process where you are healing, and you see this person, okay, I forgive you, I have let go, I'm healing, and all of that. And when you see the person 30 years later, you are not welling up with anger, and you're seeing this and you're just foaming, and you're like, oh man, I'm going to kill you today. You are not like that. You're coming from a place of love that everybody can actually change.
Okay. Why I asked was because of the circumstance you narrated, pastor, and you're sitting under administration, are you not going to switch off the TV? Because I feel like that's more about the person not having healed. It's not about the person not having forgiven. Sometimes you have probably some experiences create a necessity that there has to be healing. Even before you can forgive, or even after you are forgiven. You've forgiven them, but you just find out that the wound is there.
Yes.
You get, and it takes a while, and every time you see the wound, there's hurt.
Yes.
It's like, and so that was what brought me to what's the place of healing in forgiving and forgetting. Okay, so
I also think forgiveness would precede healing.
Okay.
I believe forgiveness is what to activate
the healing process, the healing journey.
So, but then I do not want to totally agree. I know maybe that was not what she meant, but then I do not totally agree with the public saying that time heals all wounds.
Okay.
I believe it takes a decision for the healing process, and that decision is forgiveness.
Okay.
So many times, the healing will not just start because of time. So people over that, like she said, over that 21 years, they
still there.
So time has gone, but then
they have to.
Not forgiven. So you have to take a decision to forgive them.
Okay, Pastor Bamdili, final words.
Yes.
So that
time heals. Time doesn't heal anyway. What also looks like it is the individual that is involved. The other time I was making emphasis on emotional makeup, because we don't have the same emotional, makeup and the rest. Some are emotionally mature. Some people are still trying to, I'm saying it takes time. So as you build your emotion, it will help you to what you will take now, what you will just accept. I may not accept it because I'm not. I will not take that. But you, because maybe because of your past experiences, because your exposure has made you to become mature, to know how to undo issues, how to undo situations. So, but in my own case now, I'm still learning to undo issues. So the people that are, or the person that is the individual that are involved now should also see how they can help their emotions. Read books, and most importantly, trust Holy Spirit to heal you. And coupled with the time.
Coupled with that, that's wonderful. So I think, of course, that for me, in the context of marriage, so that it won't look as if we didn't say something on it. In the context of marriage, forgiving is important.
Yeah.
Forgetting is still in this context of what forgetting means. It's important. But at some point, wisdom is also necessary. So, but because it's a lifelong relationship that only death does you part, it's important. Does use wisdom to deal with it. And I don't want to go extensively about it, but maybe if time permits, because it rings in my mind that we should actually open up about it, because sometimes you find that in certain marriages, what actually brings it to an end is that they get to a point where they feel like this thing has happened over and over and over again.
So
I can't deal with this anymore. Do we now tell them to forgive? You have a cheating partner. Do you now say forgive? It's been over and over and over again. So for some people, the hurt is persistent. So they feel like, look, I can't do this anymore. And so in the end, God heals all things. And if not time, like Jibola said, if it's not time, God does. So, God help us. So I hand over Faithful to close.
Okay, all right. Well, I hope we all had an amazing time watching this particular session. Forgive, most importantly, let love fill your heart, because you can't forgive from a heart full of hate. So that's our closing for today. We'll see you next time. Very important, like, share, and subscribe. It's not complete when you don't subscribe. Forgive, and most importantly, share love. And in the Christmas season, it's a season of love all around, the festive season where we are sharing love. So make sure you forgive. This is the best time to forgive. And also, this is the best time to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you some other time. God bless you.